Hello and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast for the week of December 16th, 2013. I am your host, Big Al. With me, as always, is my wife and technical producer.
Sensational Susie.
Yeah, she really doesn't want to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, she just wants to go lay down.
Oh, feeling sick, as always.
Yeah.
Let's talk some wrestling.
Some wrestling?
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk tables, ladders, and chair pay-per-view from WWE. Last night, we missed the opening match between Dolph Ziggler and...
Fandango.
Fandango. Anyways, we were having technical difficulties, so we didn't catch that match. But we did happen to catch the CM Punk match.
Which was the opener.
Big shock there. And it was a decent match, I thought.
It's CM Punk. How can CM Punk and the Shield.
There's one thing that could have ruined it, and it almost did, and that was Roman Reigns.
Oh, I thought he was okay. He's a Samoan.
He'll find his way eventually, but he's having a little trouble. Now, early on in the match, it was CM Punk fighting off Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns got a eye injury and was out for most of the rest of the match. And then it was down to the other two Shield members. And honestly, I thought Seth Rollins was doing well. And then he was sucking and sucking.
What?
And then
I don't
Dean
think you
Ambrose
were watching
came
the
in.
same match I was watching. I was watching ROH and Dragon Gate dudes go in there and wreck house. I don't know what you were watching.
Well, it picked up after Dean Ambrose got in.
Yeah.
And the match ended with Punk giving the go to sleep to Seth Rollins and setting up Dean Ambrose for it, then dropping him, sidestepping a spear, pushing Dean Ambrose right in the path of the spear. Ladies and gentlemen, I see the dissolving of the Shield very imminent.
Which makes me sad.
They're still going to be around.
But it's like, hey, the WWE finally got something over that they wanted to get over, and then we're going to squash it. It's like building a sandcastle and then kicking it over.
Yeah, a very, very prickly sandcastle. Made of glass and needles.
Oh.
Not in the bad way, I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm like, what kind of beach are you on? Where they have needles and glass in the sand. That's terrible.
Yeah. Then we have our next match of the night was the Divas Championship.
Yay!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Mark here in the studio. You're such a Mark.
I like AJ.
You like AJ?
Yes.
You like AJ. You like AJ.
I like Natty too, except she can't do anything with a microphone.
No, she definitely inherited her father's mics.
Everything.
Yeah.
Except his drug addiction. Oh,
Yeah, she's got his talent and his ability to punctuate anything somebody with microphone skills can say. But as for mic skills on her own, nope. Meanwhile, AJ Lee gets over on Natalya. And it was a good match.
Of course it was. You have wrestlers in the ring.
I mean, Natty. She tried for 2 sharpshooters, and both times AJ got out.
Which is phenomenal because people don't get out of the sharpshooter.
Not typically. And then AJ slaps that Black Widow.
But Natty got out of it, so.
Yeah, once.
Yeah, but remember, she got her with the roll-up. Hair pull, roll-up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it doesn't matter, because AJ wins, and that's all that that matters.
Is it just me, or are they backing off on the makeup for Tamina?
I don't notice makeup because it really makes me angry to visibly see girl wrestlers wearing makeup because they're wrestlers and they should be wrestling, and you shouldn't wear lipstick when you're about to whoop on somebody. It makes me angry, so I don't...
Sherry Martel did it all the time.
But was she wearing makeup to look pretty, or was she wearing, like,
it was her
Luna Scary makeup?
It was kind of her gimmick, yeah.
I'm talking about blush and lipstick and eyeliner that's supposed to make you look pretty. Like these girls are going to, a party or something. That makes me angry. So if you're a chick and you're wearing war paint, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like if you come to the ring and half of your face is like painted up like lace or something, that's kind of cool. I'm talking about, foundation and blush and eyeshadow and all that kind of crap. Because in the hood, when you're about to fight, you take out your earrings, you take out all your stuff. Some chicks I've seen take their shirts off, which is weird, but it has happened. And, you strip down to fight. You don't put up on makeup to fight.
Then we had, wasn't it the Biggie Langston match, or was it the tag championship match that was next?
To the rundown, to the internets. Be right back. And we're back.
Yes, the internet does have a purpose. Primarily to
watch porn.
And to look up things that we argue about. It was the Big E, Langston, and Damien Sandow match. I went to the bathroom.
Next.
Big E won. Next, we had the four corners tag team championship match between the Real Americans,
Dusty Sperm,
WCW Originals, and
that should be their tag team name. Oh my God, Big Show and Ray, WCW Originals,
and who was it? They got eliminated.
Oh, so Ryback.
Oh yeah.
Rybaxel,
which should not be taken with alcohol.
Or when operating heavy machinery.
No. But, yes. First team to get eliminated was Rybaxel. Followed by the Real Americans. Which, the Real Americans put up a great bout between them and Goldust.
Just Goldust. Oh, where was Cody?
Cody was on the apron waiting for a tag.
I know at some point he had some sort of knee injury and was just writhing outside of the ring holding his knee.
Yeah, and then...
Ow, my knee. Oh, my knee. Ow, my knee.
And then
Ray
we
Mysterio.
and then the Real Americans get pinned. And Big Show comes in against Goldust, and to start things off, Show showed a great
sportsmanship
by making sure that Goldust was ready to go before he did anything, and it was a great match between the two until Rey Mysterio came in against Cody Rhodes. And I'm sorry, Cody is a great wrestler, but when Ray is doing all his flippy-do stuff, it doesn't look like Cody knows what to do.
He doesn't know.
And it was still good. I enjoyed it, but in the end, yeah.
Which is weird, because they had a great WrestleMania match that really put Cody on the map.
That was the Ray Captain America match.
Yeah, it was. So, I don't know. Maybe he forgot.
Maybe.
Ray has been gone a long time. He forgot how to work with flippy doos.
Yeah. But anyways, Dusty Rhodes' sperm wins.
Yep. As they should, because I love anyone whose last name is Rhodes.
Then we had that forced upon us match between The Miz and...
No, it was Brodus Clay and R-Truth.
Yeah, I forgot all about that match. Who cares?
Brodus Clay and R-Truth and the Funkadactyls.
Big news from that is...
Everybody walked away from Brodus Clay.
Yeah, including R-Truth with a win.
And then we got the Kofi Miz match.
Unfortunately. Which, again, I went to the bathroom for.
Aww. Kofi wins.
Yeah, who gives a rat's you know what. Then we had the Daniel Bryan Wyatt family match, which was really good and kind of disturbing and made me cry and pee a little.
I really want Daniel Bryan to join the Wyatt family.
You're not the only one.
It's not gonna happen because they want to keep him face, but I want him to be a Wyatt so bad.
I want him to be heel. I want him to be heel and replace Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt has to turn face.
Ooh, I don't know if I want Bray Wyatt to turn face. He's so great at being creepy. He was creepy when he was Husky Harris, and all he did was stand there. And he, looked like he was kind of drunk and high, but just, when he was Husky. And, yeah, he was creepy then. And now that he can open his mouth and we find out that he can talk in ways that only make sense to him, it's a little Warrior-esque, but in a good way. Like, you can kind of put it together and make something out of it. But I love Bray Wyatt. And I want Daniel Bryan. Because even if Daniel Bryan turned heel, they would still have yes chants all over the place.
Yes, no matter what you do to that character.
That yes chant is going to be the what. And 10 years from now, they're still going to be doing that. And we're going to want to murder everyone.
Yes, because everybody knows you do a what chant, I want to stab you in the face.
Yeah. So, Bray Wyatt wins. Daniel Bryan put up a great fight.
Yeah.
The weird cuddling and laughing, crying, kissing at the end was so...
Not as bad as the crab walk.
I don't know. Because he's cradling his head and he's laughing but crying, but laughing still. And that whole thing was creepy and I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, and the WWE totally failed on their trying to cut out Chris Benoit from their Champions promo because you totally see his tights. You totally saw his tights.
You're I know those tights. Those are Benoit tights. Do you think Randy's really upset that his first title reign is always gonna be ruined? It'll never be on a DVD. It'll never be anywhere because he won it from the artist formerly known as Benoit.
No, because he still gets paid regardless.
Yeah, but it's for part of his legacy that can never be shared.
Yeah, but his legacy, no matter what they cut out of it, he still gets money from it.
Yeah.
Next up, we had the main event, the title unification match between Randy Orton and John Cena.
Boo.
Now, both of us, we don't really like these guys as human beings, but when you put them in a match together...
I like John as a human being. He just makes poor life choices. With the vaginas that he chooses to hang out with. Randy Orton, yeah, he's a terrible person in real life, but he's amazing as a wrestler. And fantastic at being terrible. He's a great heel because he's a terrible person.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
There were so many parts of this match where I'm just why is he still trying to set up tables in the corners? John Cena keeps on trying to set up a table in a corner, and I'm just why?
Climb the ladder.
Climb a ladder. Do something.
Climb the ladder. Win the match. Oh, well.
And, then remember the handcuffs from a few years ago?
Oh, the 09 handcuffs. All the Scene fangirls remember the 09 handcuffs.
Well,
they make a return.
Against John Cena.
That's who they were against before. Randy brought in 09, Randy brought out the handcuffs, handcuffed John Cena, and beat the crap out of him with a kendo stick, and then somehow, then he handcuffed John to himself. And that's how he ended up losing with the attitude adjustment chained around his neck. It's fangirl like canon. Like, to be a scene writer, you must know every every aspect of that one match.
Yeah, that didn't happen this time. He
No.
got handcuffed to the ropes, and John Cena, I think from his past of having to set up the ring, unscrewed the bottom turnbuckle.
The whole bottom rope just fell.
And started climbing up the ladder after Orton.
Yeah.
And beating him with the turnbuckle.
Which was pretty awesome.
Yeah. It was awesome. And then Orton gets knocked off, and John's hanging out there on the ladder, and they start doing a tug of war.
Which was also awesome. This match was really, like, those boys, you could tell they hung out a lot and put a lot into that match. And just was like, what can we do that it's not been done by us before? Let's play tug of war in the ring. Okay. And then there was the Cena hanging from both.
The Cena pinata. That
Yeah.
thing.
He was hanging from both of the titles, and Randy's like hitting him with a chair, a la pinata.
Yeah, that happened earlier.
Yeah,
And then after the tug of war, Cena took a really bad fall. I think he was meant for him to land more on a table than he did. Pretty much his head and neck and shoulder landed on a table. And it looked terrible. Like he legit was injured.
Yeah, but he's fine, because his head is made of bricks. It is.
Yeah. So Randy wins.
Yay!
The entire McMahon family comes out. Sans Linda and Shane.
Shane, the one we all really want to see.
Yeah. I heard his hair's gray.
Yeah, he's completely gray, but I don't care. I want Shane.
I do too. But yeah,
Ew.
they come out not like that.
Hey,
know.
fan fiction mode. We're talking about Seaton, so.
Yeah, well, they come out. They shake hands with Orton.
Stephanie does the hug thing again.
Yeah.
She's all hugsies, and Trips is like, stop hugging other men.
Yeah. $1 Billion Princess gets any man she wants from the back.
She should. She's the princess.
Yeah. So, that was TLC. And overall, what did you think of the pay-per-view? Scale of 1 to 10?
I liked it, other than, you had a couple of dud matches, the ones that they put in there last minute. It looked like they kind of looked at the card and was like, we got a lot of matches people want to see. We need to put bathroom breaks in here. Alright, Miz and Brodus Clay. Give them a match with anyone else. And there you go. There's your bathroom.
Honestly, I think Miz versus Brodus Clay would have been a more interesting match than what we got.
Yeah, probably. Book it.
I would.
Although I must say, I was kind of sad that Xavier Woods only got to hang out on the outside.
He's not ready for pay-per-view yet.
Oh, but I really like him, and we have similar hairstyles.
Yeah, and me and Big Show have similar hairstyles. You don't see me being a show mark. Although, if I were to meet the man, I would mark out.
Okay, then. Point. So.
Not because of him being a wrestler, but because of all the things that he had to overcome throughout his life.
You're making me misty over here.
So. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me wipe that for you.
Ow.
Let me wipe that for you. Well, that about does it for TLC. Coming up next, we have 2 wonderful interviews with 2 very great women. One who's just starting out with her career, the Masked Alley Cat from Illinois. And coming up after that, we have one of my personal favorite female wrestlers from Shimmer, Shine, and all the other women promotions that I've been following.
You know where good wrestling happens.
Yes.
Good chick wrestling.
Yes. Leva Bates, what I like to call the cosplay crippler. Well, without any further ado, we're going to get on with
both of these interviews.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to you in Illinois' indie sensation, women's wrestling indie sensation, the Masked Alley Cat. Alley Cat, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Now, one of the first things that we always ask is, who inspired you to get involved in wrestling?
Number one would be Sensational Sherry. I was a huge fan of her growing up. The very first time I saw her was WrestleMania 5. It was the first pay-per-view I ever saw, and I just was hooked on wrestling and her ever since. I just knew that I wanted to be her when I grew up. Besides her, I liked Luna Vachon and Medusa a lot. Male wrestlers, I like, there's a lot. Like in the late 80s, early 90s, that's my biggest influence. I love the Brockers, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Mr. Perfect, so many people. But I mean, Sherry's ultimately what really hooked me on wrestling and why I've loved it so much.
Right on. Just about every single one you just mentioned I was also a fan of. I didn't really get a chance to watch much of Luna's work because, well, during that time I really got out of wrestling when she was predominantly in it. And I'm only just now catching up with some of her work.
Oh, she was amazing and far, far underutilized. I think she should have done way more than she did. Like, a lot of what she did was managing, and she just was awesome in the ring. I think she really got underutilized, unfortunately. But I had a chance to meet her at an independent show once, and oh my gosh, she was the nicest woman.
Yeah, now, there are some women that have been trained by her. Do you regret that you did not get a chance to get trained by her?
Oh, yeah, I mean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay, it cut out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, to train with her would be amazing. I would have loved that opportunity, and I really think, like, a lot of women are proud of the fact that they train with men, and I just really think it's a disservice because women have to move differently in the ring. There's different things you have to do, and I really think women should reach out more in helping other women get trained and all of that. So yeah, to work with Luna would have been amazing.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I mean, there are certain points where wrestling with a man would be challenging for women, but at the same time, it's training for both men and women because it shows women how to train with someone who's larger and more powerful, and with guys, it shows that they can wrestle with someone smaller and actually work a good match.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I mean, there's positives and negatives to everything, I think.
Yeah. Now, you were trained by Harker Dirge. How was his training style?
Well, he's my husband, so that's why, one of the reasons I went to him, he's really experienced. He was trained by Adrian Street down in Florida, so he has a lot of knowledge between that and his own experience. He's really rough, and I get paybacks from him too when I mess up, just like the guys would. So he didn't hold back on me just because I was his wife. He has a lot of technical knowledge, and knowledge about the psychology and putting matches together, and just he knew so much, and it was a good experience.
Cool. Now, I did want to ask you, how was your first year in the business? Like, how were you received?
So actually, where I'm from, there's not very many women, and when I first trained, there's only one other woman in this area. So, I've started out having a few matches with her. Then I started working for a promotion in Michigan and did a few matches there, and now I'm back working in Illinois. It's an experience. I get, well, my character, my wrestling, I appeal more, I think, to like women and kids. Not my first year in wrestling was a little bit slower than I would have liked it to be. Where I'm from, there are not very many women wrestlers at all, and when I first trained, it was really just me and one other woman in the area. So my first few matches were against her, and then I kind of started trying to branch out from there. And I've definitely not wrestled as much as I'd like to, and I'm really hoping that's going to change in the near future.
Yeah. What made you decide to wear a mask in the ring?
I like Lucha Libre wrestling. I love the creativity and the colors that luchadors have. So when I was watching some of the masked wrestlers, I'm just like, I want to do that too. It looked so fun to have all those colors. I have the fringe on my mask, and it kind of helps me stand out from other women too, I think. But I have pretty distinctive hair, so it's not really a privacy thing or wanting to hide my identity. It's really just a creative outlet. It's a lot of fun.
It looks like it. Now, how does the crowd receive you at being a masked wrestler as it is?
I've gotten a lot of positive response. I think kids respond to it really well, which is something that I really wanted to appeal to when I decided to wrestle, because I think my phone cut out earlier, but I really feel that kids are a huge market that wrestling should be marketed toward, especially women's wrestling. If you can hook young girls, not just guys, but the young girls who need role models, who want to be like the women wrestlers, that to me is the fans that I'm trying to appeal to. And I think they are so loyal, and they'll be lifelong fans if you can hook them when they're young.
Yeah, we're doing an interview later on with Leva Bates, and I'm pretty sure she's going to probably say the same thing about hooking young fans, especially with her gimmick.
I like to hear that.
Now, you mentioned in your interview with the Women of Wrestling that of the locker room situation. Do you ever see that ever changing?
Did you say the locker room situation?
Yes.
I hope so, yeah. I mean, it's something and this is maybe another reason why I haven't wrestled in as many places as I could have. I don't think it's right to put the men and women in the same locker room, and I won't work for a promotion that does that. And it's not just for the women's privacy. Like, a lot of places will say, hey, here's where the women can change, but then they throw them in the same room with the guys who are all changing, and that's not fair to the women, and it's not fair to the guys either. I mean, the guys should have their privacy and be able to do their guy things without women in there too. In any other sport, the women and men have separate locker rooms, and I don't know why wrestling has gotten away from that. I think on the larger scales, they still separate them, but on the smaller scales, a lot of times they just throw everybody into a really small room together. And I'm doing my part to try to get that change.
Right.
Whatever small circle I can influence.
Right. Now, what promotion were you with when you were wrestling in Michigan?
I was working for AWWL in Michigan, and they were it's the sons of the original Sheik. They were an extension, continuing big time wrestling, and it was a good experience. I have family in Michigan. That's where I'm from originally, so it was really
what
awesome
part?
Getting to work in Michigan. I was from kind of between Lansing and Detroit. In Livingston County.
Okay.
So
you're breaking up.
I think I stopped because I thought you were going to ask a question.
Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah, I'm more closer to the Indiana, Lake Michigan side.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd have to. Most likely, if you were to drive from where you're from to where your family is, you'd have to pass right by my town. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say I probably drive past there whenever I go to Michigan.
Right. Now, how'd you like working with Thunder Kitty?
I liked working with Thunder Kitty. She was actually somebody I really wanted to work with. When she moved to this area, I'd heard a lot about her, and I'm a huge fan of old school wrestling, and I think I kind of follow that style myself. So I think we meshed pretty well in the ring. I actually had 2 matches with her, and
I've seen one of them that was pretty good.
Well, thank you. She was wonderful to work with, and I hope I get to again in the future. In fact, we were joking that we would make a good tag team with her being Thunder Kitty and I'm Allie Cat.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh.
Do you have any shows coming up?
I have 2 in January right now, and after that I'm not sure, but I think 2014 is going to be a year of revenge for Allie Cat. I think I'm getting some rematches where I get some revenge on some people that have it coming.
Nice. Now, do you watch the current product at all?
I watch some of the women's matches on YouTube. I don't have cable, or even I don't have any TV stations at home, so I just watch what's on YouTube. But I definitely still try to pay attention to the women's wrestling because first, I'm a fan of women's wrestling, but then it's also good to, keep up with who's out there and how the product's evolving.
Any thoughts on going to either Shimmer, Shine, or WSU?
Yeah, I mean, I that's actually a goal of mine. Is I really want to work on a women's wrestling show. Like, I love the independents, and, but usually most of the shows you're on, it's 1 or 2 women's matches, and I just love to be in a locker room full of experienced women that I can learn from. That's definitely, like, my number 1 goal right now.
Right on. Now, were there any women veterans that you tried to get to mentor you?
Not so much. I mean, I asked Thunder Kitty for some advice, and I actually just worked with Lady Vendetta last month, and she's been around for a long time. She's actually worked with some of the people I was a huge fan of growing up, so she's definitely given me some advice and gave me a lot of, she's been a good friend, and she's trying to help me get some different contacts and that, so I guess she would be the one.
Right on. Have you auditioned for any other promotions?
No, I have not. I'd like to get more experience before I do that. I have sent out some feelers just to see, like, even if all I want to do is start on a small level where I can work with some more experienced women that I can learn from and that I can grow and improve. Right on.
Now, are you still in wrestling school, still being trained?
I don't have an official school that I'm going to, but yeah, I'm still, I obviously with with my husband, and he trained me, so he's always giving me hints, and working on things with me. So it's a constant progress. Yeah.
Okay. Well, on social media, where can people get in contact with you?
I have a public Facebook page under Allie Cat, and I'm also on Twitter and Instagram under The Masked Alley Cat, and it's ALLIEKAT.
Right on. Now, do you have a YouTube channel so people can watch some of your matches?
I did start one, but all I have up right now is a highlight video, but I do hope to be adding matches soon, and that's also under Alley Cat.
Right on. Okay,
And I'd actually like to branch to add some fitness.
You broke up on that last one.
Oh, I was just saying, along with wrestling matches, my goal is to hopefully maybe get some fitness tips out there, too, to help people.
You're going to try and Trish Stratus it, huh?
Oh, not quite to that level, but yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm very passionate about fitness once I got into it, so it's something I preach about a lot to people, fitness and nutrition.
I'll be honest, I wish I could do the same. It's kind of a challenge.
It is a challenge, I will say that.
Yeah. Well, Alley Cat, it was wonderful to finally sit down and catch up with you. And I hope to have you on again.
Okay, that sounds fun.
I'm sorry, what?
I just said that sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, you did, and just for FYI, you did great for your first podcast interview.
Well, wonderful, thanks.
Thank you, Alley Cat, for the wonderful interview. Sorry for the technical difficulties with it, ladies and gentlemen. Our connection was not a great one, but she gave a lot of good info. Can't talk. Well, next up we have our wonderful interview with Leva Bates. Ladies and gentlemen, the Heel Turn Proudcast is proud to present a great female wrestler who's been a part of both Shimmer, Shine. She's done things in WSU as well as over in California. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my personal favorite female wrestler, not discounting Sassy Steffi or Ms. Natural, but I give you Leva Bates, the cosplay crippler.
What an introduction. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. I guess I'm going to start things off with a couple questions.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. Who inspired you to become, to get into wrestling, acting, and being a stunt woman? Three-parter, I guess.
I've kind of always wanted to perform. I've actually told the story a couple of times when I was younger. Like, it was just in my blood. I was potty training, and I had to have an audience when I was potty training, and like they had to applaud for me when I tinkled. Apparently, that's what Mom said. I don't remember it, but apparently she's like, we knew you were trouble because you had to have applause every time you went to the bathroom when you were potty training. So they knew early on I was going to be a performer. So I kind of just, I don't know, I've always been fascinated with pop culture and movies and TV and wrestling and roller derbies and just everything, like action.
Are you
like
a derby
movies,
girl
like
too?
action movies and sci-fi and fantasy. So just, it was kind of a natural progression. I did it in school when you were younger, like, you know, grade school, middle school. If you had to do presentations or whatnot, I would always write out plays and act them out instead of just doing normal sit up there and read a speech. I did marching band, I did concert band, jazz band. So I did a lot of that stuff in high school and middle school. I got in the drama club during high school. Did a lot of that. Did a lot of just comedy, Shakespeare, regular plays. So I just been doing it for so long. Took some dance classes, as well as sports. I did softball, basketball, gymnastics, cheerleading a little bit. Then I realized I was more tomboyish, so I went back to basketball.
Nice.
And then I realized I was more into the arts, so I just kind of focused more on like band and drama once I got a little bit older. But then I went to college. I didn't really know when you first, they get you to college, you have to pick your major, and you're like, I don't know what I want to do. Because I didn't know being a performer was a viable option. So I had no major for a while, and I kept meeting all these people that were like drama majors that were, doing it for acting, directing. Some people were doing radio stuff, TV stuff. So that's what I ended up doing. I did a double major in theater with emphasis on acting, and did a radio TV production major. So I ended up graduating with that. And while I was doing stuff in college, my electives were like kickboxing and taekwondo and all those crazy things. So I just I was always wanted to do like wrestling and like martial arts, but we were always too poor to really like do classes when I was really young. So I really started getting into it when I was a little bit older. And so I kind of focused on that, and then just started getting gigs acting through theaters and stuff. And let's see, I've been everywhere. I've lived in Pennsylvania, worked at Hershey Park for a while. I worked at a dude ranch, Michigan, for a year and a half, doing every sort of like shows they did. They did stunt shows. That's where I started learning all of the stunts. That was like the foundation of my stunts there.
Really?
Our entertainment director, he used to work at Six Flags as a stunt coordinator, so he was the one that put all the stunt shows together and taught us how to do it properly and stuff and safely. So those are my favorite at the Dude Ranch. We were always the stunt shows, but we also did singing and dancing, improv, sketch comedy, children's theater. We used to run the karaoke, just everything under the sun. Ghost stories is a lot of fun too. We did all the entertainment for the Dude Ranch, so you kind of pick up a lot of rodeo clowning. So you pick up a lot of different things there. And then when I moved to Florida, I started working at Universal Studios. TNA was filming, there currently. This was about 2005, I want to say, when I moved, and a bunch of my friends I made there were just starting out training as well, and they're like, well, have you ever thought about this? Because I got a job at Universal doing entertainment. Like, you dance, you do stunts, you act, you ever think about wrestling? I'm like, of course I have, but I never really knew how to get into it. And they're like, you go to wrestling school, and that's how you do it. So I was like, those exist? I didn't know this. So I ended up going, my first school was FXE. It was ran by AJ Gallant, and also was taught by Matt Bentley and Devon Dudley. And then Devon wanted to go and do his own school with Bubba, and that was Team 3D Academy. And I went with him with that, and I've been there ever since. Actually, I was just there today, just kind of getting in the ring, rolling around, just working on a couple things. Actually doing some lucha stuff today. So it was a lot of fun. Technically I've graduated, but I can go back and work and like with younger guys or even with some of the older guys and just kind of suck at ring time and stuff. So it was really cool that they're really, giving it cool about that. So that's kind of how I got into wrestling. I know it's a really long, crazy story, but
you know what? It's fine. It's fine. What was the training process like at 3D Academy?
It's intense. It was very, very successful and rewarding. Bubba and Devon, they work really well as a team, but is because they have different strengths. Pretty much the beginner classes are always with Devon because he gets you in there. He teaches you the basics, and also like just mat wrestling, chain wrestling. That's his forte. He loves to mat wrestle. Like he'll mat wrestle all day. So you go in there and you do several months depending on how big the classes are and how much time you need and stuff with him, and then you can start graduating to the advanced class, which is more about putting a match together, like psychology-wise, learning how to tell a story, learning to become a character, learning how to do promos, and of course, that's all Bubba right there. That's his forte. So, I mean, a lot of times you'll see Bubba come to the beginners and be like, hey, I'm going to work with you guys on this stuff, and Devon will, go to advanced class, because his psychology is actually a lot different style than Bubba. There's not just one style of match, obviously, so it's really cool to have different flavors and different sides of stuff. And then there's also Dan Carr, who is our personal trainer. He trained American Gladiators when they first came on TV. He was that guy. And he used to train boxers, was like a professional, very successful professional arm wrestler way back in the day. So he knows what he's doing. So he really kicks your butt. You get a well-rounded education there. Because not only are you learning how to do moves and protect yourself and protect others, and you also learn how to tell stories and become a character and work on different things. Like maybe I'll do this, alright, this doesn't work for me, or this doesn't make sense in the match, why? And you really learn that. And then as well, they've worked everywhere. So they can tell you, like, well, TV style is different than, like, maybe, Ring of Honor style. And then Japanese style is very different than, like, lucha style. So it's really cool because they've worked everywhere and they've been everywhere and they've done everything. So sometimes you'll just get Devon, you break it down and he'll just tell you stories about like, back in the day, blah, 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 at ECW or WWE or, TNA. So it's really cool because you really learn about the business that way, how things are ran and what people are like. It's really cool.
Okay. Do the older fans understand the cosplay?
Yes and no. They don't really know what cosplay is, but they know I'm wearing a funny costume. And most of the time they find that interesting. They find that like, well, that's really cool. Pretty much is what I get, or that looks fancy, or that looks funny. So even my mom at times, she's like, I don't know what that character is, but that looked awesome. so I mean, that happens a lot. Even with some of the young young fans, they may not get a movie reference or a comic book reference. You're gonna get that. So I do try to play as to the most popular items and stuff, just so people do get it. Because if you do like a random anime that maybe no one's ever seen, except for like 5 fans, they're gonna pop huge and think it's the greatest thing in the world, which you might think so too, but you're gonna get all these other people who have no clue who that is. So a lot of times, I mean, I play it to who it is, but sometimes I do it just for the look as well. So it depends on what I'm doing for the match and how I want it to work out. So, but yeah, I usually try to play something or wear a costume that most people will get or understand.
So no Star Sapphire, no binary, no.
You know what? Never say never. Honestly, especially because of whether you liked it or hated it with the latest Green Lantern movie. Like they made reference to, they're gonna have a Star Sapphire if they ever do another one, because that happened.
Yeah.
So, like never say never. Because I've done that before. I was like, well, I really want to do this character. I don't think people will get, everyone's gonna get it, but they're gonna think it looks cool, and that's kind of. Sometimes I do it for me. Sometimes I do it for them. Sometimes I do it for even like a promoter. Okay, I want you to do, your Spider-Man. oh, okay, you don't want anything new? No, I want Spider-Man, or I want, like, Chun-Li. Okay. Sure.
So are there any characters you've been wanting to do but haven't had a chance to yet?
Oh gosh, tons. I have like lists of things. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna write this down on my list, so eventually I'll get to it.
Can you give us a top 5?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, actually. Well, I don't know. I don't want to pull up my list. It's on my phone, and I don't want to cut you guys off. I don't know if does Skype let you
I don't think so.
go back and forth between apps? Okay, I don't want to do that.
I don't think so.
The thing is, I don't want to give anything away that I might be doing, because I already have stuff. Like, I already have stuff for Shimmer set, like, lined up. A couple of things. Not everything, but... And that's, March? March, April. So I already have ideas. Let me see, top 5. I don't know, like, I don't really have a top 5, because if there's something I really want to do, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like, for the longest time, I really wanted to do, you know, like Bane and stuff, and, like, I ended up doing it this year, because it made sense. Like, I'm not just going to bust out Bane for no reason, you know? There's got to be some sort of, like, motive behind that. So when I was doing my feud with Kimberly, and me and Sal sat down, we were discussing how we were building up to the Arkham Asylum match. Like, I wanted to do, you know, kind of the Nolan / you know, I didn't quite do complete Nolan characters, but I did, like, I wanted to do the big 3 from Nolan's trilogy. So we sat down and talked about that, and how, like, which one would lead to what. I mean, we did it out of movie order, but it made more sense for the Shine story. If that makes any sense. So,
yeah, it makes total sense.
So, yeah. So, I mean, there's reasons and things I want to do. There's one character, I don't want to give it away, I've been dying to do. I've actually done the costume before and posted pictures of this costume, but I've never wrestled in it. So, I brought it to Shimmer last time, but just never found the right time to do it. So, hopefully next Shimmer I'll be able to do this character. So, but yeah, I've actually worn this costume at cons before and stuff. So hopefully, because this is going to be ridiculously over the top and amazing. So, I don't want to give it away though, because I really, really want to do it. So,
do you do any fan requests?
Sometimes. A lot of times, if I don't really know where to go, like if I don't have, like if it's not direction with the story or anything, or like the promoter doesn't give me anything, and it's just kind of like, just coming in for the match or whatever, I'll post on Twitter or something, hey, what are some ideas you guys like to, you know, costumes like me to do, and people will just send them in. So this is a lot of times I've been like, you know what, that's a really good idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Or early in Regeneration X, teaming up, we did a contest, and the winner ended up picking out our costume, and he picked out Marty McFly and Doc Brown, and it's still one of my favorite costumes today.
That's awesome!
So that was one of my absolute, it's up there. It's definitely up there, one of my favorites. So, but yeah, that was his. And then we did the costume again, and it was Duck Dodgers and Marvin the Martian. So,
oh my god!
Like, there's so many people, so many different ideas. It's so cool to pick their brain. So yeah, I do that all the time. I'm like, hey guys, what would you like to see, or who would you like to do? Or people just send them to you, like, hey, you've never done this, I'd love to see this character. I'm like, oh, maybe one day, you know. Yeah,
because I think you'd be great as Dagger from Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, I've actually thought about doing something like that before. So, especially when I was working at the comic book store. So.
Uh-oh, I think I lost you.
But you have to wait for, you know.
I just lost that bit of it.
A partner to do it with, so.
I just lost part of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, when I used to work at the comic book store, I would actually see comics, and I would look over and like, oh yeah, Cloak and Dagger would be a cool one, but I have to do that in a tag team.
Yeah. And it'd be kind of hard to not it be racist. Give me one quick second. My stupid house phone is going off. So you worked at a comic book store?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's like a job I would love to have.
Yeah. Actually, I worked at two. Pretty much one closed and one opened up exactly the same spot. So I kind of worked, and one of my old managers went, from the old store, worked at the new store, and he immediately called me and was like, "Hey, we're opening up the store. Would you want to work?" I'm like, "With you? Yeah, absolutely." So.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel when you were named one of the top 5 to watch in 2010?
Honored, honestly. I and relieved. Because it's like, I don't know, it's especially, thank God for social media and the internet. Like, I really feel like within the last, 4 or 5 years, just word is spread about all of these great athletes that maybe, before that you would never heard of because they live, like there's so many people up in Northeast, but I'm in Florida. So people never really heard of me until, the internet. And same thing, maybe you never heard of this, Canadian person because, they're in Canada and you're in, South United States. So thank God for, within the last, years, I just feel like words getting out about all of these incredible, talented people. So to be one of the people, especially a couple years ago now, one of the top 5 ones, that was just really, really just humbling and honored.
Yeah. How did you feel when you were ranked in the PWI top females of 2013?
That's awesome. Both times, both 2012 and 2013, where 2012 was almost a shock. So I was like, what? A minute? Really? That's awesome. And then 2013 was like, yeah, moving on up.
What do you do when you want to unwind after a difficult match?
Just like downtime for me is just kind of still. It's almost like working because I'm always watching movies or watching TV and reading comics and playing video games, which is honestly, if you think about it, research for what I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do that all the time. I love, again, like I said, I grew up just being such a TV and movie junkie. So I'm still like that. So I love, just kind of keeping up with what's going on, like, in the world of pop culture. So I am way behind a lot of things just because, wrestling and, working in entertainment, I don't really get as much downtime as I would like. So, but I still try to keep up with it as much as I can. And then I play games a lot. I'm a big, I don't know, you learn that I'm just nothing's too serious for me. Like when I get together with my family, we always sit and play cards or play board games. And that's just kind of always kind of went with me. So now, like, I love hanging out with friends and like getting together and gaming, whether it's board games, D&D, video games, or just going out, I don't really party much anymore. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm old or poor, but I love going out to eat with friends and just kind of goofing off. I'm a big goof. So, like last week, actually, was it this time last week or was it last Tuesday? I think it was last Tuesday. Last week I got together with a couple friends at work and we made ninja bread men. That's what we did. They found this ninja bread kit and we ended up making all these like crazy like video game characters and cartoon versions of like ninja bread men. We had like 3 Mortal Kombat guys, like 3 or 4 Street Fighter, a couple of Ninja Turtles, like Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee, just be silly and have fun and just unwind and hang out with each other. So like that's the typical like stuff I do, just silliness. So.
That's awesome. Is there anyone you've always wanted to face in the ring?
I really wish I could face Daphne before, all of the injuries and concussions and stuff. Now, she has very limited, stuff in the ring. Well, she mostly manages now, like in Shine or announces. So I would have really loved to have been able to work her. There's so many people that I haven't had a chance yet, and I would love to. Like Madison Eagles is one. I would love to have a match with her because she's kind of, her heel is, I don't know, the whole fork thing. I just think her and I would have a really fun yet awesome match. So yeah. Candice LeRae, I've been seeing a lot of her stuff recently, and I would love to work her. There's so many people. I probably keep naming off the top of my head, and I'm like, wait, have I wrestled these people? No, I haven't yet. Ooh, I do want to wrestle them. Like Allison Kay, I would love to wrestle her one-on-one. We've done so many tags against each other, but yet never a one-on-one match. Like, really, like, I think we've done a custom together. Maybe a couple, and those are a blast with Slamming Ladies. But I would love to do, a live show one-on-one with her. I think that'd be awesome.
Are there any roles you want to be as an actress?
Oh, God, tons. I want to be a superhero in the Marvel Universe. At this point, I'll take whatever they can give me. Because a lot of cool ones are getting cast, but a lot of cool ones aren't. No, I am such a huge, action adventure, superhero, fantasy nerd, so anything in that world would be amazing to me. Like, that'd be a dream. Well, I always said I want to be a doctor's companion, too, from Doctor Who. I think that'd be awesome.
I would be terrible.
you would, why?
Because the first thing I would probably do is end up shooting him, taking his TARDIS, and then doing bad things.
See?
I wouldn't even give him a chance to talk. The moment he says wait, it's over.
You're a heel.
It's just, yeah. But yes, if I could choose any supervillain to be, it would be the Molecule Man.
Really?
Yes. He's omnipotent.
That's true. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I did manage to memorize the entire Marvel Universe handbooks.
Wow, really?
Yes. I'm an uber nerd when it comes to Marvel.
That's awesome.
And I'm in the process of trying to memorize DC.
I'm afraid, though, if I try to memorize all of that stuff. Like, I read it, I actually got a lot of the little small encyclopedias, and, I think actually someone did get me an encyclopedia. Was it from Marvel? But I'm afraid if I, learn that all, I'll lose something important, like my PIN code. Or a security code or something. Oh, no!
Yeah.
Not enough room in there, and I lost something.
Yeah, well, my two favorite superheroes are the Hulk and the Punisher.
Ah. I've done both those costumes.
I know, and I love your Punisher.
Mm-hmm. Hey, thank you.
Who's your favorite superhero or villain? Or both?
I'm the type of person that, 1 week it's this person and next week it's that person. When I was growing up, for the longest time, it was Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, or just Catwoman, because then I got into Jim Balance Catwoman, where she had her own series. And then I realized, then Harley Quinn started, taking off in popularity. Well, when she first came out with...
Mad Love.
The animated series and stuff. I was like, wow, I'm actually way more like her than I am Catwoman. I still love Catwoman just because, she was the first one. I was like, wow, she's awesome. But I started realizing, like, maybe late middle school, early high school. I think that was it. Yeah, around that time. That I was like, wow, I'm way more like Harley Quinn than anyone else. So, like, Harley became, like, one of my all-time favorites for, like, the longest time. And she's still up there, like, in, like, very, very high. It's just now everyone loves her. And it's like, it doesn't really, like, okay, she's everyone's favorite. It's like, okay.
Well, she's a complete, well, in the case of Kevin Smith's wife, she's a fan of Harley Quinn and she hates comics.
Yeah.
So,
let's see, but yeah, for the longest time, she was, like, my ultimate favorite. I ended up really liking, like, finding myself drawn to more Batman villains, and then almost any other, like, superheroes, like, foes, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
In the world of, I don't dislike Superman, like, I love him to death, but, like, something about Batman villains, as opposed to, like, Superman villains, just really draw me in. I mean, as you can see, I've done so many from the Batman, like, world.
Yeah.
Whether, it's, like, Robin, Catwoman, or Harley. Like, I've done, like, 3 or 4 versions of Harley now. I've done 2 versions of Joker. I've done Bane. Scarecrow. and there's still more I would love to do. I think it'd be awesome to be a really cool Riddler. So I would love to do, like,
Black Mask.
A story. I would love to do a storyline, like, where I actually leave riddles for my opponent, like, leading up to the match. So.
Just vignette style.
Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, like, if you see my work in Shine, like, almost all of my my promos are now, like, called mini movies. Whether they're, like, 1 minute long, or 3 minutes long, or 5 minutes long. It's like, I can't just talk. I gotta tell a story, whether it's in a minute or not.
Yeah, I liked your little Christmas promo you did with her name escapes me at the moment.
Was it High Spots Christmas?
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, that was just us. We were doing our Diva Diaries, and they asked her to do a couple High Spots Christmas commercials, and she's like, well, Leva, join me, it'll be fun, we'll just be us. We're like, okay. So at that point, when she asked me to do it, because I did my interview first, I was digging through all of High Spots, like, stuff. So I found the Batman Lucha mask, so I was like, well, I'll have to do the Batman Lucha mask, just because I love this thing so much.
Nice.
I tried the Captain America one on. It didn't work. It didn't fit me right. It was like, I don't think my head's big enough to really make this look right. But the Batman, that was just right. So that's what we stuck with, Batman.
Right on. What's next for the cosplay crippler? You can have that, by the way.
Yeah, I like that. That is make me giggle. Well, I haven't announced. We haven't announced what the match for Shine 16 is, but if it's what I hope it's going to be a costume from something I've never really done before. It's not a movie, not a comic. Well, technically, I guess it's been a comic, but not from a comic. So it's gonna be something completely different. And I'm cosplaying. I think people are gonna love it, and everyone will know it. It's not like I don't know this character. If you're watching wrestling, you know it. So I don't know. We'll see. And then, like I said, I already have a few ideas already, like, tucked away for Shimmer coming up. I'm so excited about that. By the way, there's some crazy ideas I have, so I really hope they come off right. I don't know. I'm a big until I release the promo or you see me coming out of the curtain, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Right on.
Unless it's one I've done before, so.
Yeah, I would love to see you as Ms. Marvel as well.
I always wanted to do that, though. For the longest time, I hated her. I hated her so much in the comics. Not as much as I hated Scarlet Witch, but man, especially around like the time of the Civil War, I'm like, they just wrote her as such a snatch.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I've always been fond of that character because for the longest time, her memories she had no emotional ties to any of her memories. I just found that so interesting.
Yeah.
And it just... Also, what they did with the Infinity Gauntlet saga back in the 90s. God, I'm old.
Yeah, once I started like kind of reading up about her history and like kind of her whole thing with Rogue, I'm like, alright, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So like that, I wouldn't mind trying to find it and like read it, because that, like, all that stuff is really cool. It's just, I don't know, something about the way they were writing her. I guess they were trying to make her like a strong woman, but she was just coming off like naggy to me. I was like, oh, stop, I'm gonna punch you in the face. And then I mean, once she got past all of that, they started writing her a little bit better. I think people were kind of like, nope, we're not buying her. And so, like, I mean, she's got a lot better, so that's why she's definitely went down on my list on like the most hated. So
Right.
she's definitely way down there now.
Yeah. If fans want to get in contact with you, where can they reach you?
The best place is Twitter. It's Wrestling Leva at Twitter, or at Wrestling Leva on Twitter. Let me put it that way. I get back to people way quicker on there than I do on Facebook. I have a fan page on Facebook. It's Leva Bates, parentheses, official FB page. But I will get back to you if you send me something. I'm also on Instagram. I love pictures. Like, so I do Instagram all the time. I'm Wrestling Leva on Instagram as well. So those are like the main ones I do. I don't think anyone does MySpace anymore or Google Plus, though I do have pages on both. I haven't checked my MySpace. I think I had to go and look for a picture a few months ago, but like going on there, it's like, whoa, this is so weird. It's like a ghost town. I'm pretty sure I saw like, you know, a little like hey bell like just kind of like go by me as I'm like checking my page because it was so empty.
Yeah. We all have had to go back to MySpace for something or other and been like, wow.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really use that. And I had Google Plus for a while, but it just didn't seem like enough people were using it to really keep it up. I'm terrible at that. I also have a web page. Apologize now. I am terrible, absolutely terrible at keeping up with it. I think I updated it maybe in September, August. Yeah, it's been a while, so, but I mean, that's a good way of like, hey, I'm gonna email you or something, or hey, I want to find out, like, whatever. It's a quick, easy, boom. It's actually, it's on my Twitter. That's the link on my Twitter. I want to say it's levabates.mixform.com. It's the website.
Yeah, it has your all your promotions you've worked for, all the films that you've been in, well, shorts that you've been in, as well as a list of your acting accolades on stage. And I watched that short fan film that you did, that was on Twitter, or on YouTube, and it wasn't bad.
Which one was that one?
The one where pretty much I'm not going to spoil it, but no dialogue whatsoever. It's just you in a mirror.
Oh, okay. Was that Dolor?
Yes.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember how to pronounce
I
it.
want to say I filmed that probably 2005, 2006. So yeah, that's a pretty older one. A lot of the stuff I've done, I have on DVDs, but they've either submitted them to festivals, like film festivals, or like when I first moved, I was doing a lot of student films, so that was for a class, or they showed it at their little festival there at school. But I've actually done stuff that's been like submitted to festivals around like the country and world. So I don't even know honestly how to find all of these. Mostly I'll get like a DVD, like here you go, thanks, so I knitted them up, here you go, here's your copy. So I don't think they're online, most of them are. I don't really know. And then I've done a lot of like extra work, so that's one of those blinkety miss me ones, but it's still cool to say, yeah, I've done, Graceland a couple times, I've done the Glades, so.
You've been on the Glades? I love that show.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was extra work, so I think Graceland is like 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna say Glades was just once, and I think that was where I was driving a car at an airport. But the thing is, they paid you more, so you don't even really see me, but they pay you more if you use your card. I'm like, I'll take the extra money.
Well, yeah.
So you sit in your car and you're like, all right, action, and you drive by while they're having their little dialogue a couple times.
Now, I do have this one question about you being a stunt woman. It says on your page that you can be a stunt coordinator as well.
I've actually done that for some of the smaller films I've done, because the people that are filming them, they have no combat training whatsoever, so they want to do something, but they're not really sure how to do it right. So at least with stage stunts and like martial arts and wrestling, I have some sort of like background where it's like, all right, here's how we can do this. Can you do it this way, like theater stage way, or we can do it more like wrestling, where it's a little bit more maybe impact, but it's gonna you tell me what works. So I'm always there for giving ideas, and actually a couple people were like, hey, why don't you just do all the stunts like for the film? I'm like, okay. Sure. So
okay, well, thank you again for agreeing to be an interviewee for the Heel Turn podcast.
Oh, of course.
Thanks again, Leva, for the wonderful interview. It's very rare that I get to mark out 2 things other than wrestling on this show, and I got to show my inner nerd and talk shop with a fellow nerd of so many things that I like, and she is legitimately funny. I highly recommend everybody who does not know Leva Bates get to know Leva Bates. Same thing with Allie Cat. She shows a lot of potential, and I want to see her grow. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Heel Turn podcast. Do you have anything, Sos?
No. Oh, I do want to say that I am reading a very good story right now. I just want to plug it real quick. Subseeker is on fanfiction.com. Oh, fanfiction.net, sorry. And she's doing a story that leads up to Christmas. It's a Seton. It's called the Seton Advent Calendar, and it's like little short stories, like snippets from a year in Seton, and there's like 2 parts every day, and it's really well written. It's really awesome. So fanfiction.net, Subseeker, Seton Advent Calendar.
So is it the 12 months of Seton? On the first month of Seton, my true love gave to me.
Whatever. Rain.
Something up the...
No. It actually, in the story, they have not touched each other in that way yet. And we're on like the 17th or 18th chapter, somewhere up in there. And they're still fighting their urges.
So Randy has yet to turn John Cena into a sock puppet?
Yes. That hasn't happened. You make it sound so filthy. Their love is pure.
Their love is okay.
Let's end the show.
Alright, for the Heel Turn podcast, I'm Big Al.
I'm Sensational Sosie.
Have a week.